All right, so we were just talking, Misha, off there about this idea of satisfaction in the food that you eat and how maybe people don't have energy and the only thing they're being satisfied is the food they're eating. So I was curious if you could continue on with that line of
The-
thought.
well, that's an interesting paradox, basically, because normally we talked about satisfaction. Remember, that was the key point about satisfaction and joy. And very often, I see in my clients that it looks like, at least to me, that the only source of satisfaction in people's day, this is those eating routines where they are like waiting for get something to eat because it gives them real satisfaction. And well, it's okay. That's okay. The only problem is these they feel caught in this vicious circle because you eat like 4 or 5 times a day, and some people eat like up to 8 times a day because every time you put something in your mouth, it starts a circle of producing uh, you know HCl in the stomach and the bile and all the ferments. So it's take a lot of energy. So if you do it like 6 to 8 times a day, put something in your mouth, then you rob yourself for energy. That's an interesting thing. And if you um, so basically you want to eat, you kind of satisfied during the day because you eat, but it also takes a lot of energy. And on the other hand, I look at this at nutrition, with the somehow um, with the eyes of a philosopher, maybe not only engineer but also a philosopher, because we have those two aspects of eating behavior that are ruling us. Well, the one of them is ruling us. That's the aspect of psychological satisfaction, psychological needs, and that's what's ruling people eating 8 times a day, right? They are, I mean, they are drawn to carbs very often, and they also mix carbs and meat and so on. But they cannot break this vicious circle. And if they do, they start understanding that it's a really good idea to balance psychological needs with physiological needs. So what I
Right.
see, one of the most important things, philosophically speaking, about food and about nutritional behavior, about eating behavior, is to is to balance those two needs. And what I really think is fantastic with my way of eating, with a way of eating where people adapt to ketosis slowly, um, it's that physiological means have a word to say in this balance. And normally
Mm.
it gets, it's drowning in the ocean of psychological needs, so to say.
Wow.
Does it make
Yeah.
sense?
Yeah. I know that your system is a big fan of intermittent fasting. So how are you using this frequency of eating and fasting? How do you use that in your protocol?
That's a very good question. Basically, intermittent fasting, the core idea that it's um, well, people think about fasting, they equal it to starvation. And I want to say that it's not. It's not starvation. It's very natural when you shift the major source of energy in your eating from carbs, which is called glycolysis, to fats, and which is called lipolysis. So that's a very big difference because when you shift, you don't feel like it's a problem anymore. It becomes natural. So remember, intermittent fasting, the whole idea with intermittent fasting, that it comes effortlessly. Because when people do intermittent fasting and they are not keto adapted, it requires uh, it requires willpower, and it's not a good idea because then they will fall off the wagon normally. All right. So Fasting is just a structured pause, which is natural. When it's combined with ketogenic adaptation, it becomes effortless. That's what I want you to remember. And basically, when it works this way, we get it like a gift. We get it like a gift. And this is a big, physiologically speaking, it's a big gift because it increases autophagy. So cellular autophagy and mitophagy, both on cellular level and mitochondrial level. It's about detoxification. It's about getting rid of uh, different dying cells, dying mitochondria, dying debris, and it's
Yeah, I wanted to
pro.
ask you about that.
Yeah.
So autophagy, I know you've spoken a lot about that in regards to sleeping in a fasted state and how you may enter a deeper level of autophagy if you've been fasting for a while when you go to bed. I've noticed that myself when I follow your protocol and I stop eating around 2 or 3 p.m. and I sleep by 10 at I wake up so much more rested as opposed to if I eat at 6 or 7 p.m. Um, and then so that's part of my question. And also Agenus vonderplanitz, which a lot of the people who follow this, raw carnivore, raw food diet, he talked about in his book he almost talked about autophagy in a negative sense. He called it like the cells eating each other, and it was all this, and I know in his protocol he has people waking up like in the middle of the night to eat eggs and things like that. So when I
Mhm.
read his book, I remember thinking like this just kind of seems a little weird.
Mhm.
Um, and I got a lot of value from his book, but I was wondering if you could just explain autophagy and your
Okay.
perspective on it.
There's a lot of different ideas about sleep, and there's also some carnivores that are talking about eating at night, like cave people. They say, like cave people. Um, It's a very bad idea, I believe. It's a very bad idea because your gut is working during the night. And this is a major thing. You need to offload your gut. You need to, I mean, sleep. You need to kind of um, make it in parallel. So your gut sleeps and your body sleeps. Then your brain will also sleep because otherwise your enteric brain, which is in the gut, will constantly send signals to this brain, and you will not have natural good sleep. There's many different aspects of it. There's three kinds of autophagy: microautophagy, macroautophagy, and what we call CMA autophagy. It's called chaperone-mediated autophagy. Chaperones are like helper proteins. And For example, chaperone-mediated autophagy starts like 10 hours after, or 8 to 10 hours after the last um, movement of your gut, a last peristaltic movement. So you can you basically understand that you need to stop eating pretty early, right? To do that. So you get a chance. And the interesting fact is, um, when your gut is not moving, when your enteric brain is calm, then something magic happens. Your cells in your brain start detoxifying in a very effective manner. Basically, your helper cells that are called um, astrocytes or glia cells, they are diminishing 30 to 40% in volume, increasing flow of extracellular fluid in the brain. And the toxins, it's very crucial for people also that have brain, because I'm working with brain tumors, I'm working with brain cancers, that one of the most important part that people sleep well, because detoxification of the different products of waste products from tumors, when people have brain tumors, it happens through uh, your glymph, which is the lymph that is in the brain. It's called G lymph, glymph. And glymph
Okay.
and extracellular fluid are basically working together in concert during the night. If your autophagy works, if you are falling into deeper, and that's basically because this is in concert, this is in it's basically integrative. It's interdependencies here. There's a lot of interdependencies, and when those things happen, you also tend to spend more time of your sleep in deeper stages of sleep, third and fourth, and that's where the magic happens. So,
Wow.
inflammation when you lymph works, in lowers inflammation. Your hunger hormones. We're talking about intermittent fasting, right? Ghrelin, leptin stabilize, and people think fasting basically requires willpower. Again, in ketosis, hunger fades so much that you have to remind yourself to eat. And very often, when I'm working, when I have a lot of things I love doing during the day, and that's the only way I work, I'm only doing the things that I love. So sometimes I have to remind myself to eat. So remember here, um, well, I can say that before keto, I never fasted. Never. So after I've been in ketosis for 15 years now, so I feel that my health is much better than from 15 years ago when I was 45. I'm 60 next year. So my health is much better because a fasting is a part of my daily routine. Okay.
Hmm.
And ketosis is a kind of an on-ramp to fasting. We can talk about mental clarity during long fasting windows. That's basically why I forget, because my brain is working as well, so well without eating. And I love this state. I'm not craving anything. I have my water. That's what I call my, uh, it's not GNT, it's not gin and tonic. It's basically, um, it's mineral water and with lemon. So I call it silver tea.
So what is like your sleeping and eating routine? Like when do you eat? When do you go to bed? When do you stop eating? All that stuff.
Well, most of the time I'm eating twice a day. Some days I'm eating once a day. Some few days I'm not eating. It's not a lot of days. It's not it doesn't happen for me now. Especially it just happens so that I spend my days. I start my days on tennis court from 6 o'clock every day, from 6 to 8. I'm training, and I never eat anything before that. And before, I used to hit the wall basically on tennis court. It was a part of my problem. I used to go hypoglycemic um, after 20 minutes, 30 minutes of exercise. So I needed uh, to have chocolate, glucose, different kind of things. And
Hmm.
now I never think about food at all, at all. So maybe the first time I'm eating with my girlfriend. Then I go I meet my girlfriend at the seashore, Black Sea, here after the tennis training, and we are at home around 9 or 9:30. So then we can eat at 11 or something. Normally we work a little bit there. I'm rehearsing on my guitar in the morning. I love it. And she's dancing. She's a dancer. So we eat maybe at 11:30, like that. And then we eat last time um, at 4, where my work is through at 4, maximum at 5, maximum at 5. We love it because then we have a very good, a lot of hours where we're not thinking about food. And this is a paradigm shift because basically uh, people want to spend a lot of time at the table. And it's cozy and it's hygge, like we say in Danish. Hygge.
What is
It's
that?
hygge. It's this. like candlelight dinner, all of those things when you are uh, uh, like dimmed lights, like a northern Scandinavian atmosphere, cozy, you know. But we found that for us too, we'd better dance together, play music, and we both she's playing bass now, I'm playing guitar or piano, we sing together, we dance together, we go for walks, we take a ride to a uh, nearby towns, walk there, and things like that, you know. Sometimes we watch a great art film, art movie, and sometimes we just talk together, and this is makes so much sense. I never tried this before because this paradigm of spending a lot of time at the dinner table is prevailing. We're prevailing. It's not anymore. We have much less time at the table now, and we're enjoying life much more with some other things because we are creative, both of us.
That's so cool that you guys have that, and definitely something I admire and look up to. I think that's a really cool connection you guys have. And one question that comes to mind on top of the what you were talking about of being performing and then needing to eat chocolate or something like that. I know a lot of the people I know, particularly, and people who come across ketosis are like,
Yeah.
well, you know what? Ketosis is great, but only for short terms of time because naturally, you wouldn't be eating carnivore for that long. I hear it all the time, like um, carnivore for 2 months is good, but beyond that, I think it can be bad. And all sorts of athletes say that carbohydrates, you need them to perform. And so I
Yeah.
know you have this funny saying where you say in one of your old talks, you said that the only three essential macronutrients are protein, fat, and oxygen. Um, and I thought that was just really funny. So I want you to, I guess I'm curious if you can talk about carbohydrates, how you think about them from an athletic performance standpoint, and also why are they not essential in your approach? And like, how do you use them if you do use them?
Yeah, I understand. First, let's talk about, I will tell you about ketosis. I don't see it as a diet. I see it as a return to metabolic intelligence connected to your body, innate, native to your body. It's not about restriction, yeah, right? It's about liberation from chaos. It's about liberation from metabolic chaos. But basically, that's what happens when you go into the supermarket. And 95 of products, they are adulterated products. They are, I mean, I would say they are not fit for human consumption, most of them. Um, so, uh, and like, even the brain prefers ketones during stress on the high altitude and for fasting. It produces more work with less oxygen when running on ketones. And we can maybe on a later podcast, I will tell you all about this because there's a lot of misinformation about a respiratory quotient, how it works, because it produces less CO2 in ketosis. And but you basically retain more CO2 in the blood. And this is a paradox, but it needs bigger explanation. We talk about this. It has a bigger implications for the athletes, very big implications. And then if we add the power of ketogenic adaptation phases from the first to the fourth, and that's what I want to talk about also for the athletes, then it's going to be very, very interesting. So uh, how come carbohydrates are not essential, right? There's a difference between non-essential and harmful. And you can live without carbs. You can't live without fat and protein. That's the thing. So then we can talk about other aspects of essentiality, but that's a definition of essential. That's a definition of essential. And why? Interesting fact. If we want glucose, and we definitely want glucose, and 5% Remember, 5% of the brain cells, they need glucose. Not the whole brain, because the whole brain can be fueled on ketones, but the 5% are dependent on glucose. And the body can make all the glucose it needs for those 5% of saying via gluconeogenesis from amino acids, right? Fat, protein and fat. And that's how our ancestors survived ice ages on like less than 10 or 5 grams of carb a day. And that carb was coming from animal liver. Mostly because there's a lot of animal liver so that's a paradox. Basically, people think carbs are brain fuel, but basically brain runs better on ketones. In fact, they increase blood flow and protect neurons. It has a neuroprotective abilities. So this is a myth. Like your thyroid will not work on carbs. It's a myth. And we can talk more in depth about this. And that people cannot survive on zero carb diets. It's a myth. Lack of glucose equal lack of energy, a myth. But, and here's the power of ketogenic adaptation. Ketogenic adaptation gives you actually, we can say stability. And in which way? I mean that. I mean also instability in the form of we can eat carbs without in much more without coming out of ketosis when we are ketogenically adapted. And this is a fact that nobody's basically talking about because, well, I'm not the person that have been in the keto for longer. I mean, the longest time. Not at all. That's not what I'm saying. But I can tell you that I'm measuring my glucose, I'm measuring my ketones, and I can see that my ketogenic adaptation, it's stage 4 ketogenic adaptation. The same like for Dr. Finney. Dr. Finney, that is, has been writing about ketosis for 35 years ago already, making studies. He's been in ketosis for 40 years. And I met him at the conferences, low-carb conferences, carnivore conferences in US. And he said, I told him about my measurements, and he said about his measurements, they are the same. And the measurements are your glucose in the morning is around 2.5 or 3 in the morning. This is like, it's a severe hypoglycemia normally. But in our situation, we are fully functional, and I have this glucose, very low glucose on court. And my ketones are very low. Why? Because I'm not in ketosis? No, because ketones are used much more faster than in stage 4, in stage 1 adaptation. Okay, 4 stage of adaptation. So it's about time. And I can allow myself to eat carbs. I eat carbs. Basically now, I mean, I eat some, when I make some pictures about it, make some photos, I call it, the hashtag, it's called quasi-vegetarian. Quasi-vegetarian, because I'm eating some onions, I'm eating some pickled cucumbers. I'm eating every day. I'm eating some garlic and onion. I'm eating with every time because I'm eating a raw meat, and it fits perfectly. And sometimes when I want, I can eat a half of an apple. I don't need more because I'm not craving it. Just for the sake of a taste, I can eat a half of an apple. I can eat a half of an orange. And I will not crave more. That's the difference. I am not binge eating carbs. That's the difference. I can eat carbs. But for me, carbs is a training of metabolic flexibility.
Hmm.
Sometimes I'm saying it as a joke because Misha, what are you doing? I'm training metabolic flexibility.
How come most people have heard that raw food is dangerous and are there any like reasons specifically that this has become so popularly scared and feared in people? Because
Yeah,
it's
but some foods
yeah.
are dangerous raw, but other foods are more digestible raw. That's the thing. So basically, greens, many greens that have anti-nutrients that are more dangerous raw. When you cook them, when you ferment them, they are not dangerous anymore. But they still have fiber that can have some digest problem for you. But well, we're talking about toxicity. They are dangerous. Most of the plants are dangerous and raw for sure. But animal foods are more digestible raw. That's the difference. It's not like raw versus cooked. It's about knowing what belongs where. And that's an interesting fact, actually. A raw animal fat contains fully intact enzymes and some nutrients that are heat sensitive that get destroyed by cooking, like vitamin B6, iodine, omega 3s, and things like that. And uh, there's also a very interesting fact that Native Americans, now you guys, you are living in this country, you you ought to know this, that Native Americans believe that eating the organs from the healthy animal support the health of corresponding organ in the individual, and eating nose to tail. Okay, this is interesting, and there were some studies in University of Scotland with radio isotope labeling, or isotope. How do you say isotope?
Isotope, I
Labeling
think.
isotope, where they could see where like um, when they could see where the nutrients from like eaten organs and glands, they were selectively traveling to the corresponding organs and glands in higher concentrations. Wow! It means that if you are eating brain, it selectively travels here. And I'm eating brain every day, raw cow brain, sliced,
Small amount every day.
small amounts every day. I love it. I
What about
make
the other organ meats? Do you, I know
all of them,
you
all
said
of
you have
them.
a
We're
little bit
eating
of
all of them.
liver.
We're eating all of them
How
every
often?
day.
Every
Every
day.
day, every day. That's how we handle once a month. We handle 30 kilos for
30
two.
kilos of
Everything, both for my dog, for our dog. It's like 35, 30 kilos, both for our dog and for ourselves, and freeze it. And we handle all the internal organs and meats from fat, sheep, and mostly beef. And it's
Can
not
you walk
expensive,
me?
and it's not expensive parts.
Right.
Remember, because we are not frying them. When they fry, they become stiff. Some of the like you know cheaper parts. We are eating the cheapest. We are buying the cheapest parts. We are not buying ribeye at all. We are not eating ribeye at all. We eat raw, cheapest parts, basically. Um, Back leg, that's where you get ossobuco. We are not doing ossobuco. Normally it's 4 or 5 hours in a pot, right? We are eating ossobuco raw, and we take the raw marrow out of the bone and eating it also raw. Everything raw.
So how much organ meats are you eating in like a day? And what organ meat specifically do you eat? I know you said everything, but could you break it down what you're
Okay, I
doing?
can break it down. I can break it down. Basically, it's we love it both. So we found out that actually we love it. It gives us a different tastes and different textures, and it's crazy because we're adapted. We you know we succeeded in rewiring our taste buds because we think it's good for us, for our energy, it's good for our life. It's an investment. So we rewired our taste buds with time. So our taste buds, they're basically thinking now that it's tasty to eat brain. It's tasty to eat raw testicles. It's tasty to eat different kinds of glands that are um, basically built into the organ fat, because the glands, they are you cannot they are built into the fat, clumps of fat. So we eating all of those internal glands with fat together. And what I do a nice thing, we sort all of those things so they fit into half a kilo chunks together.
Okay.
So I form them into a half a kilo chunks, and it's kind of a glued together because when we put it in the fridge, it's glued together. So when I take it out, I slice it with my 12-inch butcher knife that is always very, very sharp. I have a very good sharpening tool,
Mm.
um, a rolling sharpener tool. Fantastic. So it's very sharp. And at the same time, I'm slicing them. So you get like those kind of slices of very, very nice. It looks like artsy in a way because there's a different colors of different glands and different organs are different shapes and textures are together in one piece like this. So we are eating carpaccio every day. This is carpaccio. When you slice it from the frozen, you put it on the plate and you get a plate like this filled with carpaccio that is made of meat and organs. And then we just enjoy it. It's fantastic to eat carpaccio, which is pretty expensive thing, every day with the best. They would put best olive oil from Greece, from
You
one.
eat olive oil?
Yes, we started eating olive oil because we found out that it fits fantastically to to the concept of carpaccio. It fits
Mm.
very, very good. So it's the best olive oil we can find. And we never buy another because we found one that is just the most fantastic. It's an endemic kind of olive tree, a sort that is from Greece, and that's only one kind, and this is certified. It's like, when you get when you drink whiskey, you know that the best whiskey is a single malt.
Mm.
It's a single variety. Single variety. The same with this olive oil. It's a single variety olive oil that is very, very high quality. So olive oil
And are
is
you
the
guys, are you guys doing like eggs and like what kind of animal fats are you eating? And
yeah, we have egg yolks like a sauce. It's a like in one little thing. I'm drinking egg yolks like a sauce. And then we have a little onion, sliced onion, raw onion. We found out that it just fits so fantastic. So with every meal, we eat one raw onion each, like raw, and a couple of um, uh, how do you call it? Garlics, a couple of garlics, but they are chopped and blended in olive oil with some local kinds of spices. It's called actually
wow,
Sicilian leek. Sicilian leek. It's um it's a great spice. We love it.
nice. I've been buying the bone marrow and eating the marrow raw lately too, and I like it. Um,
It's surprisingly good, right?
I like it a
You
lot with
get
the,
surprised.
and then I do the ghee as well. I do a lot of
Yeah.
the ghee,
Mm.
and I was wanted to ask you about that because I didn't know. Um, there's a lot of oils, and obviously there's the whole, the world's kind of waking up to the seed oil stuff a lot more lately, and omega-6, omega-3s. Um, what's your perspective on all the different oils that people are using, like coconut
Okay.
oil?
Okay.
Uh,
So
or-
basically, when people come to my program, and they have serious health problems. I said, guys, the most important part, you are not drinking any seed oils, any, nothing. If you want to heal fast, you are not drinking. You can eat vegetables. You can fall off the wagon with vegetables, sometimes with berries and everything. It will be okay. But do not use any seed oil because it promotes inflammation. All of them promote inflammation. There's no talk here. And olive oil is different. It's a fruit oil. It's not a
Mm,
seed oil. It's a fruit oil. And uh, uh, basically, coconut oil is also different. Um, um, but I do not endorse using of coconut oil, and I'll tell you why. Two things. The first one, when people use coconut oil, they tend to start doing different kinds of cookies very often. If they start using coconut, then they start using, and this is not right. This is a fallacy. This is a wrong path. This is a dead alley. How do you say? This is wrong. It's not gonna uh, lead you into higher grade of ketogenic adaptation. Believe me, this is a wrong road. I've been following this road for years. It's called
mm.
ketogenic road. I'm not doing ketogenic. I'm doing essential ketogenic, which is because of health. And you can do it, but if you sometimes use it for flushing the teeth, the mouth, this is great. But if you start going the way where you do the cookies and you do different kind of desserts and everything, this is a wrong path. That's not what I
Okay, so
would
you'll use
endorse.
coconut oil for not washing your teeth out, like a toothpaste kind of?
Yeah, yeah, it's flushing. Yeah, how do you say? Yeah, flushing, right? No,
Yeah.
the mouth. Yeah, that's a good idea to whiten the teeth and to extract some impurities, some toxins from the mm, um, from the mouth, and that's basically okay. Another thing with coconut oil, I found out that it can promote, if people use it to stay in ketosis, it will promote indigestion in bigger quantities. That's a problem. It's a big problem. So I'm talking about this in my videos to start what is ketosis is, because that's a part of ketogenic idea to use these animal plant fats from. Yeah. So that's basically it. The whole idea is, um, why do you do this? So people should ask, why do they want to do this? Why?
Mhm.
Tell me one strong, heavy ground to do this. Why? And if they maintain and they remember this answer and maintain this answer in their memory by reminding yourself about it every day, which basically all my clients in my intensive programs do because they have cancer and they have some window of opportunity in form of our program. And
Mhm.
some of them, they have a very, very like shallow, or how do you say it, not so wide window of opportunity, especially it's a stage 4 cancer. So it's not an issue for them to forget asking this
Why?
question, the why.
Right.
Yeah.
But
But it can be an issue for the rest of us.
yeah, the motivation,
Yeah.
I think for me it was just hitting such low points with my physical health and why I always have ventured back into studying and trying to learn and staying connected to people like yourself who I can tell are operating at higher levels of health that I haven't really ever seen. And that it's almost like you're like an abundant person in your health, you know what I mean? And I think the world is missing a lot of that. So that's why I found myself attracted to what you've been doing. And um, I also have noticed I'm much more productive. And you actually, I remember I had you when I was doing a productivity event in the past. You did a seminar for my event about productivity. And so that kind of leads me to maybe the last question for today, and we can sum it up. Um, what are the main benefits of eating raw carnivore, raw ketogenic, as far as, your energy levels, your sleep, or anything else that you've noticed that you would say are the driving benefits that might,
Mm.
um, and also on top of that, is that what motivates somebody, or do you find that there are better motivators than trying to have better sleep and energy?
Okay, so what did I notice when eating raw carnivore? So
Mhm.
I noticed that the less I interfere, and I believe this way of eating is the our species appropriate nutrition. It's not a diet. We're not using the word diet at all because it's connected with the willpower and with falling off because the lack of that, right? Willpower. So the less we interfere with nature's food design, the more clearly, well, I hear my body's signals. Energy gets consistent, mood flattens in the good way, right? So basically, I cannot overeat on the raw carnivore. I can't overeat, and I was overeating every time I was eating, those beautifully seared um, ribeyes. I could not stop. I was not listening to my body's signals. But when you're eating raw, well, now it's a little bit doubtful because I love it. But still, but still, when you eat everything blended, when you're eating raw brains, it's fat. It's just plain fat. And when you're eating raw brains that you like, but after the last bite, when the signal of leptin comes, I used to say hara, hachi, bu. In Japanese, it's 8 out of 10 for your health. And the rest comes for your doctor, not for your health. So 8 out of 10. And so normally these signals comes very weak when you are eating cooked. So you need to really to listen and use a little bit of willpower to stop. When you're eating raw, it's absolutely different. When this signal, the first signal of satiation comes, the same second you stop eating. So overeating does not exist on raw carnivore. So and people, well, I and people that were are on raw carnivore on my program, there's many people. They say less hunger. Why? Because we normalize leptin and ghrelin, those hormones of satiety and hunger, right? And downstream, they normalize insulin. So stable blood sugar, fewer mood swings, and better sleep. Why? Because we have a lower gut activation. We talked about that, right? And I'm writing about that in my book. And I also wrote in my article on Elsevier about the gut activation and ketosis and sleep connection. Um, and that's basically a paradox. I eat less, right? I eat less. When I eat raw, I eat like a half of what I eat when it's
Well,
cooked because I
how,
stop because I stop much earlier and I'm fuller because all the micronutrients they are more bioavailable. I don't need more. I don't need
yeah,
more.
you said
And
you're
and
eating between you all, you're eating 35 kilos. So you're eating what, 15 kilos of meat a
I
month?
I'm eating 500 grams maximum in a day,
In
half
a day.
kilo a day, and we're eating the same. My girlfriend and I were eating about half a kilo for a day.
How much do you weigh? Like in yeah,
My weight is
kilos.
very stable. It's 60 kilos. And we're the crazy. We have the same weight and we have the same height, my girlfriend and I.
Okay.
Very stable, very stable. Yeah.
Okay.
So I eat less, I feel fuller, and I have more energy. Like now, this is a paradox, isn't it? And all by doing what's been demonized by mainstream health for decades. Like trust your doctor, okay? Trust your health advisor. Not. So there's a deep sleep connection, there's a clarity, There's no crash post meal. I don't need to nap. I get quiet. My nervous system is calm. All of those things all together. You know what? Um, I'm not thinking about quitting after 15 years, and I'm eating raw for 5 years. When I started 5 years ago, I was not eating all the time raw, but I started eating raw. But
And now you're like 100%. You never have any kind of cooked food or
oh
anything?
yes, I have sometimes, but I
Oh,
don't
okay.
need it. I don't need it.
Okay.
My girlfriend, she was not on this for so long time. She was actually came to my program for 6 years ago, and that's how we
Oh,
know
wow.
each other. And she became my personal assistant, and then we're a couple after 6 years. So, so she's not been on keto, but she's been on keto in 6 years. So she needs some cooked meat afterwards because her um, still. But there's a point now in her life where she feels like she don't really need it so much anymore. So we have some days where she's not eating cooked food at all.
Mm.
That's new for her. That's not new for me, but that's new for her. And we found out that when she's eating fat sheep meat, this is the healthiest food on earth.
Wow. Do
Lamb,
you think,
lamb, sheep, the fattest cuts. But basically that's the cheapest cuts. That's the cheapest cuts because there's the most fat
yeah.
on it, and this is because when you cook them, it's then it's I mean the ribs, for example, they are most expensive because when you cook them, there's a very nice meat there and a crown, like lamb crown. That's the most expensive, and when you buying a sheep, um, and when it's not expensive cuts, we don't need it. That's where most fat, and that's the best food for a human being. People are reversing their different kinds of illnesses on that, and that will be. I will really talk much more about that, more and more because we are really practicing it, so we can talk from the heart, and people can be only inspired when the talking head is talking from the heart. It's still a talking head, but when the talking head is talking from the heart, it goes directly in. Yeah.
Oh, I think that's a good spot to end. That was a really good podcast, and hopefully anybody who watches it all the way through got a lot out of it. You have anything else to say?
I say thank you, Max. I love you.
I love you too.
I love your, inquisitiveness. I love it. You always come with some very, very good questions on our Q&As, weekly Q&As.
Yeah.
I'm very, very happy for that. Please keep on doing it because your questions are helping other people. Because not all the people are so inquisitive and can
Yeah.
formulate so well some questions. Not all the people. So you are helping them too. So
Cool. Thank you.
it, we need two to tango.
Yes,
It
we do.
takes two to tango, right? Love you, man.
I love you too, man.
Good questions. Thank you. Bye, guys. And thank you, everybody, for listening. That's nearly an hour.
Yeah.
See you again soon. We'll have another inspiring podcast with very good questions by Max Hernandez. Thank you, Max.